So this is the Valley Gemini SP, and it's the sport play version of their Valley Gemini twins. It's the 14-foot 10 sea kayak that's been designed for using in tide races, sort of overfalls, rock hopping and surfing, rather than doing longer distance tours like their ST or Sports Tourer model. It shares a lot of the same features, but very much they've taken the core design of the Gemini twin and then really tweaked this one to give it some playful sort of aspects. So let's look first of all at the fixtures and the fittings. We've got a full set of deck lines running the length of the boat, and we've got all the sort of normal deck bungees that you'd find front and back. So there's enough stuff here to fit split paddles on the front or the back and fit the various bits and pieces that people like to under those deck lines. We've got 3 hatches on this boat. We've got a circular front hatch, we've got a large oval rear hatch, and then Valley have gone for their deck pod on the front. So this is a feature that first came in the Valley Attains, and it's a small deck mounted hatch. We can put a small amount of sort of safety kit or valuables, bits and pieces into that, and it's actually a removable pod so that that can be lifted out and taken away from the boat if needed. The one noticeable thing in terms of storage is that we don't have a day hatch at the back, so there's no day compartment. And that's one thing that some people are going to look at and maybe be a little bit concerned about. However, with the prime use of this being more of a play boat, it's something that maybe people won't be so concerned about. We've also got a flat area just in front of the hatch there for mounting a silver compass or similar. So really, in terms of outfitting on the decks of the boat, there's nothing here that's really missing from a fully featured sea kayak, you know, more of a sort of 17, 18 foot boat. Inside the cockpit area, we've got your Kima footrests, we've got a nice plastic seat with removable padding and a nice big wide Valley backband here that is adjustable and held in place by plastics. On the rear of the seat, we've got 2 small loops that come out for attaching things behind the seat in the cockpit. We've also got nice aggressive thigh grips in this boat, and this is a pre-production model, and I was told when I picked the boat up that actually they're planning on making those even more aggressive. It's something during the review period that the paddlers picked up on, was possibly the thigh grips could be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit larger and lock you in. And the pleasing thing is that Valley have picked this up themselves from their testing, and it's going to feature on the production models of this boat. So where does the playful stuff come in with this boat? Well, it's very much in the design of the hull. If we take a look along the side here, we see a couple of interesting things. Perhaps not so evident on the video, but very evident when you're looking at this boat is the amount of rocker that they've put onto this compared to the ST model or other sort of sea kayaks. The other thing that's quite evident is we've got a hard chine running along here, so we've got very nice solid secondary stability on here, rather than a sort of a rounded shape. On the bottom of the boat, we've still got a shallow V running the entire length of the boat, but the section underneath the cockpit here is reasonably flat. There's still a very shallow V, but it flattens off enough to help out when you're surfing or doing something of that sort. Being a smaller boat and a shorter boat, one of the big concerns that was when getting into it, there'd be a lack of space and it would be very, very tight fitting. Valley have done a very good job of keeping quite a bit of volume around this section of the boat. So even paddlers, larger paddlers, one of our test team is over 6 foot and with long legs and that sort of height, still fitted in it very, very comfortably. Wearing a pair of size sort of 10 Lomo boots or 5'10" Canyoneers, you can still get your feet into the boat. It's quite tight, but it is possible to do. So don't think by moving to a short boat like 14 foot like this that you're going to lose all of the space in there. It's still a comfortable place to be for a day out on the water. In terms of handling, well, primary stability is good, secondary stability is also very, very good, and the boat really is very, very playful. On flat water, like our test area down here on the Beaulieu River, it really wants to carve around on the water. Edging is very, very effective. In actual fact, what most people have found is if they try and edge this boat in the same way that they would a longer 17 or 18 foot sea kayak, they over edge and actually drop into more of a leaned turn. So leaning on the inside, turning on the inside edge, sort of a low brace handbrake turn, something like that. And similarly on whitewater, playing in the tide race down at Hurst, a similar thing happened. We all found we were tending to over edge the boat, and it wasn't using a negative edge, it wasn't turning the way we thought it would. Once you become a lot more subtle with your edging, then the boat really starts to go where you want, and it's incredibly manoeuvrable. Being short and very lightweight as well, it's also very easy to use the body to throw the boat around on the water, and it is incredibly playful. Rolling wise, it rolls very well indeed. There's a slight stall point just at the end of a roll, and that's possibly going to catch out people who've got a weak roll or haven't really developed their roll yet. If you've got a strong roll, no problem whatsoever. To be honest, the test team discovered that more when we were trying out Greenland rolls, that we discovered that sort of stall point. But I think for beginners, it's something just to be a little bit aware of. The quality of the layup and the construction on this boat is excellent. It's lightweight. It's amazing to put this on your shoulder or lift it on and off the car and carry it round, but it's still very strong layup, beautifully finished inside, no problems at all over the test period with any leaks from any of the hatches on here or any of the sort of outfitting. So very well made boat. This pre-production model is all red. The actual models that come out are likely to have a white hull and then be able to specify a different colour for the deck on this. The only last thing to mention is with a boat that's designed to be playful like this, out general paddling, speed-wise you are sacrificing some speed for the playful aspect, so you need to be aware of that. That being said, I've been out on standard sort of club paddles with a range of ability paddlers, and I've been in this, and other paddlers have been in 17, 18-foot boats, and I've been able to keep up without a problem. But you need to be aware if you're paddling with faster paddlers, you're going to have to put that bit more effort in. In terms of just paddling on the open sea and wind and things like weathercocking, with that large amount of rocker and a bow and a stern that do sit more pronounced from the water, it is going to get slightly more affected by the wind. It edges well, so you can combat that. It's also light and small, so you can use your body to try and combat that. But Valley have fitted their standard skeg system in here with the removable slider, control slider. And so when the wind really does pick up, that does an excellent job of avoiding weathercocking and keeping the boat running in a straight line. So what do we think in summary? They've aimed at the playful market, they've aimed for something that's for tide races and rock hopping and surfing, and they've done a fantastic job. This is a small, lightweight, manoeuvrable boat that is going to give people a lot of fun. Every member of the test team from Ocean Paddler got off the water with a huge grin on their face, and I think that really sums this boat up. Fantastic fun.